All right, peace and blessings, from this brother Ibar from the True Van God of Israel, and I'm here back at you with our weekly Shabbat discussion. All right, as you can see the title, Deception of the Beast. All right, where am I coming from with this message right here? We see just a few you know weeks ago, America claimed that they capture Maduro from Venezuela, right? And as I sit back and analyze this whole ordeal, or this scenario, I see some level of deception right here. Okay, I have a friend, be put me and him always sit down and we have some discussion, and we always said that these empires they are working together, right? But how are they working together? Um, I don't know. So I decided to do some research and I came up with something, right? Straight from the Bible. Straight from the Bible. I found out that normally we hear about the one world order, right? Now, if there's a one world order, is it here as yet? No, it's not here as yet. So they are working towards the one world order, right? There is two, fraction that is being presented to us. We have what you call communism and we have capitalism. Okay, so communism is where the state own everything, and capitalism is, each, where everybody just work for themselves and try to get to the top of the food chain. Okay, so it's built up on my empire, your empire. So everybody's just working hard to get to the top. Okay, that's what they call democracy. But as I sit back and I analyze, I'm asking this one world order system, right? Is it here as yet? No, it's not from a biblical perspective. So, what will it look like? Okay, what will this one world order system look like? I'm thinking in my head, if we're gonna have a one world government, then we must have a headquarter for this one world government, and we must have what you call satrap. There have to be some level of satrap, govern areas that is being governed, um, areas that is being governed by governors. Like for instance, the Caribbean. The Caribbean is under what you call the CARICOM. Okay, the Americas will be controlled by what we call USA, or the United States of America. So South America, Central America, North America. Okay, it have to be separated. Africa, who will control Africa? That's the question. Who will control the Middle East? Okay, who will control Asia? These are questions that we have to ask ourselves. Okay, and as I do the research, I came across some stuff, right? When the European Union was actually created, I think it was created in 1973, somewhere there. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna look into some stuff right here. There's a word called Eurasianism. Now, when you talk about Eurasianism, you're speaking about you're looking at two words, Europe and Asia. Okay, so it's a compound word that is made up of Europe and Asia. Okay, Eurasianism. Okay, Eurasianism. Let me read it for you. It's an idea or a concept that came out of Russia. Okay, so it's a Eurasianism. Russia is a socio-political movement in Russia that emerged in the early 20th century under the Russian Empire. which state that Russia does not belong in the European or Asian categories, but instead to the political concept of Eurasia and the Russian world, forming an ostensible standalone Russian civilization. The ideology is geopolitical, similar to Atlanticism and Gulfism. Okay, so what Eurasianism is that Russia does not belong to Europe, nor does it belong to Asia. It's a standalone empire, right? Now that brings us to what you call when I analyze that concept, or when I was reading this, it take me right back to in the 1800, when they have what you call the Berlin Conference. Now the Berlin Conference is when Europe come together, right, and separate Africa. So each European country will take piece of Africa. Okay, this is why Africa speaks so many different language. They speak Portuguese, they speak French. They speak all different. They speak English. They have a different language in different areas. Okay, and this is what the European does. Separate Africa. Each one of them take piece. So you have the Portuguese, France, England. They all colonize Africa. Okay, and then they came up with something called the doctrine of discovery. The doctrine of discovery is what gave them the right to enslave um, so-called black people, or the Africans. Okay, right? The only European country that wasn't there was Russia. Okay, why Russia wasn't there? Because Russia at that time was having internal conflict, so they have to fix their own house before they go out to colonize places. Okay, check this out. You have what you call Gulfism also, as the article states. Now, what is Gulfism? Gulfism is the Middle East. Who will control the Middle East? Okay, so it's really the Arabs coming together and forming their own thing. That's what Gulfism is. Okay, you have transatlanticism, which is another term. Okay, which really come from what you call the transatlantic, or the Atlantic. So it's geopolitics altogether when you put it together as who will control each geographical location, right? And this is why I mentioned the New World Order and what will it look like. Okay, check this out. Russia, we see Russia and Venezuela, as they claim, and China having a good relationship. But America went there and take Marduk out of that place without Russia firing one single missile, not one single bullet. Neither does China do anything about it. Okay? So it makes me think, are these people working together? Yes, they are working together. Remember when Trump came to office, Trump said, I have a good relationship with Putin. He wasn't lying. He wasn't lying. Everything that you're seeing online about conflict between Russia and America and China, it's a hoax. It's a lie. It is a lie. It is not true. The one world order, right? Like I said, there have to be satrap. Russia, right, falls under what you call Eurasianism. Now, Russia will be the one who control Europe. And that's why the Bible said, right, the 10 horn will hit the whore and burn her. You know why? Because Russia will be the governor of Europe. You think I'm joking? Go and do your research. Okay? You remember just a couple months ago, right? There was a civil war. There was a civil war in a country called Nepal. Okay? Why was there a civil war in Nepal? Hmm. It's all making sense now to me. Nepal, right? Even though it is on the continent of Asia, it wasn't aligned with China. China will be the head of that area. So every country must put yourself back underneath China. China will be the one who set up to run Asia. Okay? This is why China was having conflict right a couple months back with Japan. Okay? This is why China was in conflict with Japan. Okay? So America, China, and Russia is working together to bring forth the one world order. Okay? So they will separate the world in different fractions, but they are working together. Okay? Africa will run, some part will run by America, some part will run by Russia, and some part will be controlled by China. This is why they're going into that area. Okay? The Middle East will be under Saudi Arabia. This is why with all of the bomb dropping on Iran and all of the Arab state, you notice how silent Saudi Arabia is. Because Saudi Arabia will be the satrap or the governor of those areas. And I'm going to show you how this makes sense using the Bible. Okay? So the Middle East will be considered as what you call Gulfism. Okay? That's what they fall underneath, Gulfism, with Saudi Arabia running that area. And this is why Iran, right, will be attacked very soon. Just a few months ago when bomb was dropping on Iran, right, it was a plea to subdue them. Okay? Okay? I hope you're listening. Pay attention, because there's a lot of person out there online teaching and they're saying all type of stuff. But this is the part that they're not telling you, because a lot of them, they don't understand this yet. Okay, they're saying, okay, the whore will be, destroyed by the 10 horn, but they are not telling you why the whore will destroy the 10 horn. Because the whore, they are not telling you why the 10 horn will destroy the whore. Okay, let me correct that. Why the 10 horn will destroy the whore? Because guess what happened? The whore gave the 10 horn, sorry, I don't know why I keep saying this. The 10 horn gave their power, their military might, their military backing to the whore to make the whore what the whore is today. And in return, what the whore does? Give its support to Russia to become the satrap of Europe. Bear in mind, Europe wasn't there when they were having the Berlin Conference. As to who will take certain parts of Africa. I'm gonna tie it all in for you. Okay? There are certain questions that we must ask ourselves. When America go to Venezuela to take Marduk out, right? They claim they take him out of his bed. Where was the 30 plus bodyguard, the Cuban bodyguard that bodyguard him? Where are they? You're telling me there was no casualties on America's part? Where was the Venezuelan army? You're telling me with all these bombs dropping on Venezuela, Marduk was just in bed chilling? Come on. You're telling me no one called the presidential office and said, listen, we are under attack? Come on. Come on. You're telling me that with all of the weapon that Venezuela have, not one of these weapons was used to ward off the enemy. Come on, take a good look, people, and analyze the situation. It was a negotiated deal. We saw many pictures of Marduk like this with the American soldiers. I don't know if it's AI generated or not. But you're telling me no bomb was fired, none of his helicopter was in the air, none of their warplane, none of that. It's a negotiated deal. Bear in mind, with the help of America, Marduk gained control of Venezuela. His time is up. And this is what they normally do. Make it seem as if okay, there's a war and we subdue him. Right? No. That's not what happened. Okay? Bear in mind, you have Saddam Hussein. It take months, years. I'm saying months. It take years before they could actually kill Saddam Hussein. Okay? It take years before they could actually take down Gaddafi. It take years before they could have taken down Bin Laden. And you tell me just one go with a special force down there, you subdue lies. Lies, people, lies. Don't be fooled. Until this very minute, America has not got control over Iraq. Neither do they have control over Libya. Okay? So this whole thing where they just go into Venezuela and take out Marduk, it's a lie. It was a negotiated deal. Okay? Happy sister, happy Sabbath, sister Mihana Kadash. Alright. Alright? Let me say this to you. Right? They are working under deception, people. Okay? This one world order, Russia, America, China, they are not enemies. They are not enemies. And I'm going to go into the Bible and bring out a few things for you. Alright? But remember, on your own time, do your research. Gulfism, Eurasianism, and what we call Atlanticism. Do your research on these things. Okay? What it is and what they are saying to you. Let's go into the Bible a bit. Let me go into the Bible a bit for you. We're going to go to the book of Daniel 7. Alright, so we're going to pick up at Daniel 7. We're going to read verse 1 and 2 first. It says, in the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matter. Alright, verse 2. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of heaven strove upon the great sea. Okay? Pay attention. Let's jump to verse 7. Because there's four great beasts that came up, right? We know those four great beasts according to Daniel 7 verse 2. Let me read it again. Daniel 7 verse 2. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, four winds of heaven strove upon the great sea. Verse 3. And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. So these four great beasts are four great empire that came upon the earth. Okay? We have what you call Babylon under Nebuchadnezzar, right? And Belshazzar, his son. We have Media Persia, Darius and, those guys. We have Greece under Alexander, the Greek, right? And his four general, the Ptolemy, you name them. Okay, and we have what you call Rome, the Roman Empire, the Caesars and all of those guys. Okay, Herod and all of them. Okay, let's jump to verse 7. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast. So this fourth beast is speaking about the Roman Empire. Okay, dreadful and terrible. Okay, now this Roman Empire is very dreadful and terrible. Okay, his level or her level of deception is out of this world. They have many faces of the beast, right? Their tactics is different. They use deception, right? First, okay. If it don't work, then they use war by dropping bomb, okay. Now, based off of what I am saying, there's a deception where this whole Mardura, Russia, China, and America is concerned. There's lots of deception, people. Just a couple years ago, we have what you call the COVID-19 that came out. They said it started in China and it make its way throughout the whole world. This was not just no regular thing. Okay? This was, this empire working together to test the world, to see the condition that the people is in, their state of mind, their spirituality, how weak they are. What will it take for them to comply? It was a test. Okay? Watch it. This is there's many levels to this beast when it comes to deception. Okay? It says, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it. You hear that? It is diverse. It is different from all the beasts that existed before the Roman Empire. Check it out. And it had 10 horns. This 10 horn represents the European Union. Okay? The very European Union that will hate America and burn her with fire. I'm going to show you why. Okay? Verse 8. I consider the horns. Right? So Daniel is saying he considered the European Unions. Okay? And behold, there came up among them another little horn. Right? So the 10 countries that started the European Union, right? Out of the European Union came another little horn. That little horn is America, because we know America came out of Europe, mainly Great Britain, right? When they had what you call the Mayflower voyage, that was a bunch of Europeans came over to America, right? And when the ship docked, they docked in a place called Massachusetts. The first place that their foot touched, they put a monument there called the Plymouth Monument. Do your research. I touch on this in a lesson called the Kingdom of Heaven. Okay? They build a monument there called the Plymouth Monument. Okay? Just check it out. So this is how America was established. This is why majority of the religions we have today came out of Massachusetts. When you talk about Charles Taze Russell, the Millerites movement, all of these guys, they existed first in Massachusetts. That's why there's a place called New England. Why is it called New England? Because that's the first settlement of European. that came from England. Okay? So this is how America was established, and that's why Daniel 7, verse 8 said, I consider the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn. That little horn is America. Before whom there were three of the first horn plucked up by the roots. Why the Bible says these horns, three of the horn of the 10 were plucked up? Because to form America, America basically came out of France, Spain, and Great Britain. Okay? Check this out. And behold, in his horn were the eyes. Let me read that again. In this horn, in America, were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. Speaking about what? The leadership of America. Their politician, you know how they speak. Listen to how Trump is speaking. That's why the Bible says they are speaking great things. Okay? Listen to how Bush used to speak. Listen to how Clinton speak. Listen to how Barack Obama speak, as if they control the world. It belongs to them. They can go wherever they want to, right? They drop bombs on you. They take control of your territory, your minerals, all of that. Okay? Check it out. All right, verse 9. I beheld till the throne were cast down. So Daniel is saying he stayed in the vision. He saw everything in the vision all the way till this kingdom, the American Empire, the Roman Empire, right, was destroyed. Okay. And the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheel as the burning fire. Verse 10, a fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were open. Listen to verse 11 now. What Daniel saw. I beheld then because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake, America. I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. And concerning the rest of the beast, the 10 horn, and as concerning the rest of the beasts, the 10 horn, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and time. So when America is being destroyed, right, Europe will continue, but they have no dominion, because guess what happened? There will be no kingdom coming after America. So when we talk about, okay, Russia and China will be the next superpower, no, there will be no Russian Empire. Why? Because Russia is also one of Esau's sons. Okay? Russia is also Rome. Okay? No power will go to China. The Bible states clear. The Bible states clear that the 10 horn will have their dominion taken away, but their life will prolong for a time and for a season. You're alive, but you have no power. I want persons to keep that in mind. You have no power because your dominion is being taken away. Okay, let's go. Verse 13. me skip that for a bit. Oh, let me just read it. I saw in the night vision, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven. So after America is being destroyed, the 10 horn, they have no power. There will be no superpower in the earth at that time. Every man will just function, right? Independently. There'll be no superpower. Okay? The only thing we can look for after the collapse of America is the coming of Christ. Because America is the one who will implement the mark of the beast. Okay? And that's what they are working towards now. Okay? I know a lot of us will start that, oh, the beast will come after the after America has been destroyed. That's not true. Okay? Once America has been destroyed, that's the destruction of Rome. The world will continue, but there will be no power. The Bible says their dominion will be taken away. Okay? Verse 14. And there was given him dominion and glory. Who is this dominion given to? Christ. Let me skip that for a bit. Go over here. I'm going to jump to Daniel 7 verse 15. Now, what we must understand in Daniel 7 all the way down to 14 is Daniel telling us about the dream. But the explanation of the dream begin at verse 15. Now watch this. Daniel 7 verse 15. I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit, in the midst of my body, and the vision of my head troubled me. Meaning he does not understand the dream. Okay? Watch this. Verse 16. I came near unto one of them that stood by, angel, and asked him the truth of all this, the truth of the dream. So he told me and made me known the interpretation of the things. Pay attention. Verse 7. These great beasts. So when we go back to Daniel 7 verse 1 and read all the way down to verse 7, it's making mention of beasts with wings and all of that. Daniel did not understand. That's why he says the vision troubled him. But now he draw close to an angel, and the angel is giving him the interpretation. Check it out. He says, these great beasts which are four kings. So these beasts represents kingdom, right? And he says only 4 of them, right? Only 4 of them. Let's go. Which shall arise out of the earth, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. Meaning the Israelite will take the kingdom after these 4 beasts are destroyed, and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Check this out. Verse 19. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast. So there was 4 beasts mentioned, but the 4th one, he's now going to know the truth of the 4th one. It says, that's verse 19. Then I would know the truth of the 4th beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, break in peace, and stamped the residue with his feet. Speaking about his military might. Okay? Verse 20. And of the 10 horns, the European Union, that were in his head, and of the other which came up, which is the little one, America, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that speak very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. So America was more, what we would have called, more famous than Europe. The 10 horn. I'm speaking about the 10 horns of Europe, which is the European Union. Okay? It says, whose look was more stout than his fellows. I beheld the same horn make war with the saints, America, and prevail against them, until the Ancient of Days came and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. Now, right after the destruction of America, the world will continue. The 10 horn, which is the EU, will be there, but there will be no dominion. They have no power. So I would love to know, right? Where is this Chinese empire coming from? Where is this Russian empire coming from? There is none, because they are all working together, right, to bring about the one world order. You're working together, family. Okay? They're all working together. If Russia is getting, lots of oil from Venezuela, China is getting oil just the same, how comes you let America just run into Venezuela, take Marduk out without one shot being fired? There's no casualties on America part. This whole thing is a joke. We've been tricked into believe that, okay, there's a Russian empire or there's a Chinese empire. That's not true. They're working together, family. They're working together. Okay? And this is why we have a concept of Eurasianism, transatlanticism, Gulfism, because they are separating the world in different fraction. This is why we have what you call here in the Caribbean, CARICOM. Okay? The head of the CARICOM is in Trinidad. All Caribbean country who is not a part of the CARICOM will be subdued and put under the CARICOM. Those in the Middle East who are not underneath Saudi Arabia will be subdued and put there. Let me tell you. Those in the Americas will be subdued and put under control. And this is why Venezuela, right, have a negotiated deal, because Marduk was never gonna, stand up against America. So it was a negotiated deal. Get out of there. You will just go somewhere and live happily ever after, you and your family, and we just make it seem like, okay, there was a war. There's no war. Okay? There is no war. Because Venezuela, under the leadership of Marduk, right, is neither what we call communism or capitalism. There is two ideologies out there that they are pushing. Is either you're a communist or you're under capitalism. And it's not, Venezuela was never under that. It's under what you call authoritarian rulership. Okay? Check it out. If you go capitalism or you go communism, right, you're still under the fourth beast. So there's no separation from a biblical perspective. You cannot run from Rome by saying, okay, I'm going to go to one of these communist countries. No, they are working together from a biblical perspective. The Bible does not give us two perspectives where, okay, there's capitalism and there is communism. It doesn't exist. Okay? The Bible says he will trample the whole world. In order for them to have one world order, they must work together. Okay? I'm going to give you a perfect example. Burkina Faso in the Sahel state. Right? Remove. Right? Burkina Faso is removed from under France and now underneath the Russian leadership. So you move from one white country in Europe to another. Check it out. If you decide to do it on your own, you will hit with missile from all angles. Okay? Just check it out. Because the Most High has given dominion to the Roman Empire. And we all have to abide by it. Okay? His time is not yet. When Christ comes, then his time is up. Okay? Let me read. It says right here in Daniel 7 verse 21. I beheld, and the same horn make war with the saints, and prevailed against them, until the Ancient of Days came. Until what? The Ancient of Days came. Okay? We will be under persecution until Christ return. There's nowhere for you to hide. Okay? So Venezuela must come back to the leadership of America, which is what they call the Americas. So anyone in the America, whether you're in Central America, you're in North America, you're in South America, right? You will be placed under the leadership of America, the United States of America. Okay? All of Africa will be controlled by Europeans. Dominion is given to them. All of Asia will place under China. This is why Nepal, because Nepal, their military might was backed by America. Okay? America decided, okay, Nepal, we're going to have to put you underneath China. Okay? We're going to have to put you underneath China. You're trying to run from China, but you're going back under the leadership of China. This is why when they have the Civil War there, America did not go there to help them. Okay? The Caribbean will place under what we call the CARICOM, where America fully control. America placed Trinidad as the head of the CARICOM. This is why they keep telling us, as long as the United States of America, operate from Trinidad to go and take mark, they are telling they are telling us, say, okay, Trinidad is who we set up to be the head of the CARICOM. They could not do it from nowhere else. Okay? Even what we have right now, all these conflict we have in Jamaica right now with the Prime Minister, you're hearing a lot of story. Listen, they have their hand up his culo. They are squeezing, listen, they are squeezing his balls right now. Okay? They are squeezing Andrew. Yeah, there's a story out there right now that the Minister of Defense, which is Horace Chang, got a stroke. That's not these stories are not true. Let me tell you what happened. America, China, right? They are working together. And they want to create a scene as if, okay, there's a tension. We have a problem with the Chinese here. But guess what happened? That's what America is saying. We have a problem with the Chinese here. But guess what happened? They can't get rid of the Chinese here. They can't get rid of the Chinese here. So you have someone with the name Chang can raise alarm. It's against the plan. Okay? So they have to put Horace Chang to the side as if, okay, he's a Chinese diplomat. Get him out of here. That's what they're doing. Okay? Get him from out here. There's no way you can have someone with the name Chang. That's a Chinese diplomat. Okay? So they're creating a scene. That's what they're doing. Okay? It says right here in Daniel 7 verse 23. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth. The fourth what? The fourth kingdom upon the earth. You're not getting another kingdom upon this earth. Okay. So if the one world order is going to set up, right, and there's conflict between China and Russia, how is it that we're in the last leg? We're in the last part. Okay? We're in the last part. Which shall be diverse from all the kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down, and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings. You hear that? That shall arise, and another shall arise of them, which is America that came out of Europe. And he shall be diverse from the first, and shall subdue 3 kings. Let's go over to Revelation. Let's go to Revelation 13 verses 11. It says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb. 2 horns like a lamb, America. And spake as a dragon. When the Bible says he spake as a dragon, right? It's speaking about the manner in which Trump is speaking now. Oh, I'm going to impose this tariff on you. I want Greenland. I want this. And I want that. Okay? Let me explain and tell you something about Greenland. Greenland is a part of the Denmark kingdom. But they function independently. They leave the EU, the European Union, in about 1993, somewhere there. So when Trump said, I want Greenland, you know what Trump is saying? They are forcing Greenland to go back under the European Union because they are not a part of the European Union. Okay? Greenland is not a part of the EU. So where are you, Greenland? That's what Trump is saying. Where are you? We are trying to come up with this one world order. Right? A cashless society to implement the mark of the beast. You are not under the EU. Right? Where are you? You cannot function independently. Okay? We are separating the world in different fractions. Right? And we are putting, a satrap over that area, a governor over that area, and you're not a part of the Europe. Out of all the countries in Europe, why Trump chose Greenland? Because Greenland is not a part of the European Union. They leave it. They're trying to function independently, and we don't want that in the world. There can be no independent body in the world when we are setting up a one world order. Ukraine. Ukraine is not a part of the Soviet Union got destroyed, right? Somewhere down there in about 1991, somewhere there. Okay? And since then, Ukraine is not a part of the European Union. Where are you? So when Russia is dropping bomb on Ukraine, right? Russia is telling them, listen, you need to come back to the agreement that we have. And Trump saying, okay, we are giving you bomb to drop on Russia, but we are not defending you. To let you know we are working together. It's a trick. Put yourself somewhere. Is either you are with Russia or you are with the European Union. Put yourself somewhere. We are trying to prepare this one world order and you are nowhere. We don't want nobody to function independently. Okay? We're going to create all these smart cities over the world. No one should live more than 15 minutes away. There can be no rural settings. The whole world must be fully digitized. AI, artificial intelligence will run. You will become a slave to this system. So you out somewhere in the bush, listen, we'll hunt you down and we're going to kill you. That's what they're saying. Okay? That's the purpose of smart cities. Okay? That's what they're telling you. This is no joke. There are a lot of persons out there online teaching, and they're not saying this. I don't know if they don't know it, or they are, they're just, trying to secure themselves, because a lot of them have the information, but they're not going to put it out like this because they're trying to save channels and all of that. Okay? A lot of them, they're out there, they're teaching, they're saying, oh, tap up the screen. They're saying, listen, it's just the aesthetic of things and the money. If you can't see this, then something is wrong with you. That Russia, China, and America, if we're gonna have a one world order, right? There's no way Russia can be independent. There's no way China can be independent. There's no way America can be independent. The Bible says the whole world will serve the beast. Let's go. Verse 12. Revelation 13, verse 12. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Verse 12. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. The first beast that the Bible is speaking here of is speaking about Rome, the literal geographical location of Rome. When they send out, their army, and they colonize places, but they got the deadly wound. The deadly wound that they receive, right? They lose a lot of their soldiers, right? The military power wasn't there because they have civil war in Rome. They send their soldiers out in different parts of the earth to, colonize and conquer. But the headquarters was being hit by, barbaric groups like the Visigoths, the Goths, the Vandals. All of these groups were attacking Rome, and Rome started to pay tribute to them. So it was affecting the military might. It was affecting the military that they have on other areas, because in order for you to have your military out there, right, and sustain them, you need to colonize area. You need money, you need other places to pay your taxes. So a lot of places was now rebelling against Rome. Plus you have barbaric warrior group that was attacking the headquarters. So Rome started to pay taxes to those different groups. So it affect them. This is how they got a deadly wound. Okay? In order for them to revive, they have to go into different parts of Europe. And when they go into different parts of Europe now, then they revive themselves under what you call the missionary. So they take on a form of godliness. Okay? And they start to come through the church. This is why you have to be very careful with a lot of these churches. This is how you get Sunday worship. Okay? So Rome split into two fractions. They even removed the headquarters from what you call Rome itself in those days. So they were in Turkey. They call it the Byzantine Empire under Constantine. And he took on what you call Christianity under deception. And then you have the other part now in Italy functioning from Milan. Okay? So there was two fractions. Okay? You have to understand what is going on. The greatest tool that Rome used to colonize the world was what they call Christianity today. That's why the Roman church is the biggest church. Okay? With the most members. And then you have, different groups that break away. That's why you have what you call the Protestant movement. Okay? So you can't escape. The only people who escape this, what would I call the Romanized doctrine, are the one who get up, right, start to study this Bible independently, come to the conclusion, especially the children of slaves, that they are the Israelite and break away from Christmas and all of that. But we're still under the iron fist of the Roman Empire. All right. It says right here in Revelation 13, verse 13. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Verse 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. So this image unto the beast, right, is the lifestyle of the beast. And even a country like China, right, has taken on that form. They accept that image. Okay? Bear in mind the COVID-19, like I said, the coronavirus, it came from out of China. Okay? It started in China. Let's go. Verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Now, what if China and America say, listen, China and Russia says, we're not going with the America's way. The Bible says they should be killed. So why is America not attacking China and Russia? Why are they not doing that? Because they are working together. They are working towards a one world order. There's many faces of the beast. There's many levels when it comes to deception of this beast. The Bible said they will trample down the whole earth. Okay? They're gonna trample down the whole earth. So if Russia is against America, and America is against Russia, how will America trample down Russia, trample down China when they all have the same military power, military might? Let me tell you something. South Korea will be placed under China, whether you believe it or not. It's only a matter of time. All right? Let me read this again for you. And cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. Check that out. Just check that out. The whole world, the only person the Bible don't include in this right here. Let's go up to verse 8. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb. So if you don't roll with Christ and you decide, okay, I don't believe in Christ, then your name is not written in the Lamb's book. And those whose name is written in the Lamb's book must go through the persecution. Okay. Verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell. Listen, the same mark of the beast system will be in China, it will be in America, and it will be in Russia, and everywhere upon the earth. So there's no way they can be divided. It's a trick. All right. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath the understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603 score and six. There's a lot of person without this understanding when it comes to this whole thing between Russia, China, and America. Let's go to Revelation 17, verse 12. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, Europe, the EU, which had received no kingdom as yet. Europe, the EU, right? A lot of them don't receive what they're supposed to receive as yet. Because why? Let me show you. Which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. So we know that, okay, Europe is a very powerful country. And, you know, they have big names and all of that. But what them truly want, them not receive yet. You understand me? They get a piece of Africa. Okay? To extract minerals and, you know what I mean? You know, to get wealth. They get that. But to become world powerhouse, they not get that. And that's what all of them want. They want to be the powerhouse in the world. Okay? Check it out. But receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. Verse 13. These have one mind. This is why they call the European Union. They have one mind. Okay? The EU, the European Union. Okay? Check it out. And shall give their power and strength unto the beast. They are going to give their military might, their military backing, right, to Rome, aka America. This is why America is so great. So anywhere you find America fighting, right? You have Great Britain there. You have Germany there. You have all of these powerhouses in Europe there. Okay? Watch it. It says, these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Verse 14. These shall make war with the Lamb. These shall... So listen. The European Union, America, China, Russia, they're all going to come together to fight Christ. And if you're watching closely, in China right now, they are persecuting Bible-believing person. Think it's a joke. And the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings. And they that are with him are called, chosen, and faithful. Verse 15. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, America, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues, the whole world. Okay? The whole world. So whether you're underneath China, or you're underneath America, or you're under Russia, you're still under the beast system. You're still under the beast system. Okay, verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, the European Union, these shall hate the whore. They are going to hate America. Why are they going to hate America? Why are they going to hate America? I'm taking you back. I'm taking you back to the top of the lesson, right? When I mentioned Eurasianism. Let me read this for you again. Eurasianism is a concept that came from Russia. Russia is a socio-political movement in Russia that emerged in the early 20th century under the Russian Empire, which state that Russia does not belong in the European or Asian categories, but instead to the geopolitical concept of Eurasia and the Russian world, forming an ostensible standalone Russian civilization. The ideology is geopolitical, similar to Atlanticism and Gulfism. Russia will be the one that America helped to be the head of Europe. And the 10 horn will have a problem with this, and it will lead to this. Pay attention. It is going to lead to this. And the 10 horn which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. They're going to hate America, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. America will be destroyed by the European Union. America will destroy by the European Union. Okay? America will be destroyed by the European Union. Because when it comes to Europe, they are not going to get their rulership. They're giving their strength, their power, their military might to make America what it is today. And what they get in return is betrayal by making Russia the head of Europe. I conclude this lesson. So peace and blessings, family. And I hope you listen. Okay? All right. Shalom.